Hello everyone, this should be a fun and pretty easy lab hopefully, although this is the second or third time that I'm recording this video, so it hasn't been that easy for me, but everybody runs into technical issues. So, port scans and firewalls. I'm going to be following along with this article right here, which is kind of like here, but I'm going to do a few things differently. Specifically, they tell you to use a Windows 7 machine. I'm going to use a Windows XP machine. They also have you type in a few different commands that are going to be different, and the IP addresses that they use in here are extremely different than the IP address that we're using. But that being said, it's relatively similar, so if you're feeling comfortable enough for it, you can just follow this. You don't have to watch the video. Otherwise, I would just follow the video and pretty much do step-by-step what I do. Make sure that you are also listening to everything that I say, because even though this is a video, yours is gonna your virtual machines and your network is gonna be slightly different than mine. So I'll tell you kind of what the gist of some things are, but the commands that you use and some of the specific things that you have to type in are gonna be different than what I have to type in. So the first thing that we do is our Windows XP machine right here. I'm gonna click on Settings, and we need to make sure the network is bridged. It's probably NAT actually for you guys, but you're going to want to make sure to change that to a bridge network adapter. Click OK. I'm going to go ahead and launch my Windows XP machine. The next thing we're going to want to do is our Kali Linux machine. We're also going to want to make sure we come in here to Settings, click on Network, and make sure this is a bridged adapter as well, and double click to launch this. So the difference between a bridged and a NAT network connection is a NAT network connection shares the network with your host machine or your actual computer. So the school's DHCP server doesn't distinguish between the virtual machines and the actual computer. It just kind of treats it all as one. We want each virtual machine to be treated as a separate computer on the network or a separate device on the network and get assigned a different IP address. I'm actually glad that I got this warning. A lot of people have been getting this and don't exactly know what to do. So if you ever get this failed to boot, not a big deal. All we have to do is go to Devices, Optical Drives, make sure that we check this Kali Linux, and then we go to Machine Reset, and that should fix our issue. And then perfect, and then I'll just hit enter. So again, with the bridge network adapter, these two computers are going to get assigned a unique IP address that is different from the host computer or the actual machine. And normally, like if you're just using your a virtual machine to browse the internet or something like that, using NAT, it doesn't really matter. But if you're going to be doing anything with kind of advanced networking stuff like hosting servers or doing these ping sweeps and dealing with firewalls, stuff like that, we really want to be using a bridge network adapter so that everything gets assigned a unique IP address. Okay, so on our Windows XP machine, I'm going to come down here to this Windows Security Alerts, and I'm going to make sure that this firewall is off. Okay, if it is on, if it's enabled, that's not a good sign. So if you see like firewall on, scroll on down here to this firewall settings. Let's go ahead and turn this off. We also want to make sure that like automatic updates are turned off, virus protection is turned off. We want this Windows XP machine to be as exposed as possible. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to make sure that both our Kali Linux machine and our Windows XP machine have valid IP addresses. So I'm going to open up the command prompt. If you don't see that, if you go to Start, Run, and type in CMD, that'll bring up the command prompt, and I'm going to type in ipconfig, ipconfig, and I'm going to see my IP address for this computer is 10.7.60.43. All the computers in Main Township start with 10, and then .7 is for Main South. I think .5 is for Main West and .6 is for Main East. Anyway, you'll see a either 10.5, 10.6, or 10.7 address. And then these two numbers over here are just going to change. They're not random, but every device that's on the network gets assigned a unique these two numbers. These are called octet. So you'll get assigned a unique octet. So I'm going to come over here, open up the terminal in my Kali Linux machine, and it's a slightly different command in Linux. It's ifconfig. Okay, and then notice this one has the IP address is right here. So this is 10.7. So notice it's the exact same. The first two numbers are the exact same for me. .60.42. So this one's mine both have a .60, and so the only octet or the only different number for me is this one. This one's .42. This one's .43. So that's good to know. They both have unique IP addresses, but they're both on the same network, 10.7, 10.7. So we're good there. So let's see, looking at these directions, I'm just going to pop back to these directions. We want to make sure that we can ping the Windows machine from our Kali Linux machine. This will just make sure that they can connect to one another. So on my Linux machine, I'm going to type in ping 10.7.60.43. Now, obviously, this is the IP address of my Windows XP machine, but your Windows XP machine will most definitely have a different IP address. And so you're going to want to type in the IP address right here of your Windows XP machine, whatever it says right here, not 10.7.60.43. Yours will probably be 10.7. Whatever. And if you're at a different school, it'll be something completely different. So this is what it looks like when you can connect. So this is good. So I have to hit Control-C to break out of this, but that's what it looks like when you can properly connect. Let me show you what it looks like when you can't connect. I'll type an IP address that doesn't exist on the network. Notice when I typed in this IP address, 10.10.60.43, I know that this IP address does not exist. And notice it says destination host unreachable. So if yours says destination host unreachable, when you're trying to ping your XP machine, that means that you're probably not on a bridge network adapter, or there's some weird network settings going on with your computer. You probably need to reset some of the network settings. But anyway, this destination host unreachable, hopefully yours doesn't say that. Hopefully yours looks like this, and it's like you're able to connect. So this means that this Linux machine can connect to this Windows XP machine. And you hit Control-C on your keyboard to break out of that. In these directions, it tells you to install ZenMap. We already have ZenMap installed. So now we just need to load up Wireshark, which, let me pop over here. I can just type in Wireshark to load Wireshark. All right. This should take a second or two. Let me minimize that. Okay, this will take a second or two. Make sure once Wireshark loads that you check this ETH0. This is like the main network connection that your Linux machine has, ETH0, so make sure that's checked. Now I'm going to open up ZenMap. So to open up ZenMap, I'm going to go to Applications, Information Gathering, and then I'm going to do this ZenMap right here. And this might take a second to load. Okay, and now my ZenMap is loaded. So the first thing that we're going to do in here is we're going to do a ping scan. Okay, so the ping scan we're going to do is in here they have 192.168.1.0. That's not the IP scheme for our computers. Remember, ours are 10, mine at least is 10.7.60. Both my Windows XP machine, 10.7.60, and my Kali Linux machine, if I can get over here, my Kali Linux machine, let me scroll up, both start 10.7.60, 10.7.60. Your first three numbers might be different, but hopefully the first three numbers of your Windows XP machine and your Kali Linux machine are the same. These are the three numbers that you're going to want to type in to, let me minimize that, ZenMap. So we're going to type in under the target right here, we're going to type in 10.7.60 And then we're going to type in 0/24. What that's going to do is that's going to scan every IP address in this range. So 10.7.60 will be the same, and then this .0/24, that's going to scan every single computer in that range. And we're going to do just a quick ping scan right here, and then I'm going to hit scan. And what this will do is this is going to scan all of the different computers. You notice we have like 10.7.60.252 and .250 and 248. So there's actually a lot of different computers that are on the network that have a 10.7.60 address. Let's see if we can see our Windows XP machine in here. So this one is .42 or .43. And notice it's right here. So I can tell right off the bat, just by looking at this, I can tell not only do I see the IP address 10.7.60.43, but I also can kind of see the this is it right here. I can also see the MAC address of this computer is 080027, and I can tell that this is an Oracle VM VirtualBox. So you can kind of see that we have some, this is a virtual machine. It can tell right off the bat that this computer is a virtual machine. Looks like there's some other virtual machines on the network. I'm just looking right here. Here's a virtual machine on the network too, but we're going to concentrate on our Windows XP machine. So I got that right here, 10.7.60.43. This MAC address right here. Take a screenshot once you found this and also our XP machine. So show me that you've done a ping scan of the network and you've been able to find the Windows XP machine on the network. So looks like I was able to do that pretty successfully. So this will be a screenshot right here, and I'm going to be checking to make sure this matches with this right there. Okay, so the ping scan, what this does is this just basically tells us all the different computers that are on the network, but it doesn't give us some great information. I'm going to come in here now, and now I'm going to do a quick scan, and I'm going to go ahead and hit scan, make sure that my target is the same. So the difference between the ping scan and the quick scan is the ping scan shows us just basically what different computers are on the network. The quick scan will tell us all of the different potential ports that are open. Okay, so notice we're getting some ports open here on like 10.7.60.2 to 254. I'm going to go back up to my Windows XP machine, which is right here. Here's my Windows XP machine. Okay, notice the IP address 10.7.60.43 matches the IP address here, 10.7.60.43. So I have 3 different ports that are open on here. 163, 139, and 445. These are all ports that are open. Not necessarily the best thing in the world, but ZenMap was able to tell me that these ports are open and this computer is able to accept connections through those ports. So let's try to connect from our Kali Linux machine to our Windows XP machine through one of these ports, through port 135. And while we're doing that, we're going to go ahead and launch Wireshark and try to do a capture of this, so we can actually see what the different packets and stuff look like. So I'm going to go ahead, ZenMap, I'm going to go and start. Make sure ET80 is checked, which it is right there. Going to go ahead and start a capture. Come back over to ZenMap here. And on ZenMap, I'm going to want to type in, we're going to do an intense scan of all TCP IP ports. So it's going to be, this is going to be kind of the command that we use, but there's going to be a few changes to it. So excuse me. In terms of the command, we need to type in nmap -p, okay, and then 135 for the port. So we're going to look for port 135, space -T4. We're not going to do -A, V, and then we're also going to do -ST to do a connect scan, and then we want to type in the IP address of our machine right here. So 10.7.60.43. So I'll type in 10.7.60.43, and of course the IP address of yours is going to be different than mine. And under let's go ahead and just hit enter to do that scan. Okay, so now that I've done this scan, scroll down here, it looks like the information that we're getting right here is similar to this. So we were able to, it looks like we were able to connect. A raw packet was sent and received through that specific port. So not only do we see that that port is open, but this thing right here tells us that a packet was able to be sent from our Windows or our Linux machine to the Windows machine, and then we got a response back. And let's take a look at what that actually looks like in Wireshark. So in Wireshark, I'm going to go ahead and stop this, and we're going to go ahead and apply a filter here. I'm going to type in here TCP.port equals 135, and then hit enter. So you'll notice on Wireshark we see 4 different, let me actually make this a little bit bigger, but we're going to see 4 different scans right here. So it's just like what they have. We have a SYN, SYNAC, ACK, and then a reset. Okay. So what this is telling us is, remember the asynchronation packet is just basically sending a packet of information from our Linux machine to our Windows XP machine saying, hey, I'd like to connect to you. Can we connect? Can we talk? Okay. This coming back is an acknowledgement packet from we can see this is from the Linux machine to the XP machine. Then the XP machine replies back to the Windows machine. This is the Windows machine replying back to the Windows machine replying back to the Linux machine, and it's saying basically, yes, I acknowledge that you'd like to connect. We can definitely connect. And hey, I just want to send another sync packet here, make sure that I can talk to you. So this one here is saying the Linux machine, hey, can I talk to you? And the XP machine says yes. And the XP machine says, but can I talk to you? And then in this very next packet right here, our Windows XP machine says to our Linux machine says to our Windows machine, yep, you can talk to me. So we have the SYN, SYNAC, ACK. We've talked about that. And then we have this last packet down here. This packet right here is our RST acknowledgement packet. Okay, that is it just basically ends the session. So we see our 3-way handshake followed by the RST packet to end the session. So we were able to connect from our Linux machine to our Windows XP machine through this port 135. Now, all right, so that's it. It looks like we got everything done for this lab. We were able to make that connection. Please let me know if you have any questions, problems, or issues. You'll probably need to take a screenshot of this as well.